Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest rendition of Tales from Outer Space. Taken from the subreddit HFY. All the relevant links will be down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy, and if you do, please consider supporting the channel. Now, on to the science fiction. I would like to give a quick thanks to our Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Fallen Angel, Buzz Killington. Thank you again. Now on to the story. A quick memo pertaining to human employment, written by Quasar Ironfist. Measurements converted to local approximates. Since humans have been discovered and the vaccines for the more common diseases modified for their biology, we're going to start seeing humans on ships and stations. Here's a few brief things to keep in mind if you are thinking about hiring a human, have a human passenger, work with a human. Food. Humans are quite possibly the most omnivorous known sapient species. While many of the things they eat are just fine for your consumption, many are not. Gluten is in high quantities in their foods, salt and iron in absurd quantities, and capsaicin is a spice for them. Yes, capsaicin, the chemical typically used to poison at parts per million as high as 0.00021. They wouldn't notice such, to them, a small amount. The food which you can eat, don't steal it from them. They tend to get annoyed. As for caffeine, many species consume it as a stimulant, but humans can and do consume an absolutely absurd amount of it. Sleep. Humans ideally spend 1/6 of a cycle resting. It apparently used to be much higher, but advancements in cybernetic and genetic augmentation let them reduce their needed sleep. Don't wake a sleeping human unless there's an emergency, such as the ship is about to crash or be boarded by pirates. If you do wake the human, do so from at least the length of an arm's away. Ensure caffeine, typically in the form of coffee, is readily available. Augmentation. Pretty much every human has some level of genetic, cybernetic, or nanobot augmentation. An unaugmented human is a bit scary in a direct fight. Most humans can punch through meters of graphene-reinforced titanium gold alloys. No, we have no idea how their nervous system is able to handle the augments. Durability. Between their augments and natural sturdiness, they will often take damage to their dermal layer and not even notice it. Slight bleeding or localized discoloration of the skin after an impact is not a reason to rush them to a medical despite their protests. Yes, we realize that either of those things would be, and is, reason to do so for anyone else. These beings in question can lose limbs, somehow not die of shock, get a replacement and be back on their feet in hours. Try not to be too disturbed. Pets. While humans are not the first species to have pets, it is rare. A pet is an animal kept solely for companionship. At one point, the Zernt mistook an animal in a human's quarters for food meant to be eaten live. Firstly, refer back to humans getting annoyed when their food is stolen. Secondly, when the human in question found out that their pet had been eaten, the law enforcement for the sector ended up traumatized. So long as you do not harm them, most human pets enjoy being stroked. However, many are also unaware of their strength and may unintentionally injure beings. Humans also have a tendency to walk up to the massive predators such as the Infernus catus and somehow make them pets. You get used to it eventually. Attacking a human. Don't. If for some omni-messiah forsaken reason you have to, go get friends. Lots of anti-tank guns. That or other humans. Preferably both. In general, however, it's a bad idea. Boredom. Many species experience boredom. Humans experience it faster. They are known for their tendency to tinker with things when bored. Do not let them get bored, especially not a human engineer. While a bored human engineer sometimes leads to beneficial new discoveries, they are often not worth the damage to the planet or star system, casualty or sanity. Sports. It's a physical sport, don't take part in it. You will die. Death. Humans typically come back to life so long as their brain hasn't been destroyed. Instead of preparing whatever funeral rituals your species, society, ship may have, instead provide the human corpse with the power source, metals, and biomass to speed up their recovery. They may be a bit disoriented and not have the memories of about 0.87 minutes of their death. But other than that, they'll be fine. If a human hasn't revived after 30 minutes, seek out a medical professional to see if they actually are dead, or if something has gone wrong with the revival system and are only half dead. Cybersecurity. According to the humans, our cybersecurity is absolutely atrocious. After a human accidentally takes over every system in your ship, station, or planet as a reflexive action a few times, you learn to stop trying to prevent it and instead try to minimize how much they can change without conscious input. Clothes. Humans evolved without exoskeletons or any other form of natural armor, and as such use clothes to protect themselves from the environment early on. Clothing remains an important part of human society. Don't demand of a human that they take off their clothes. You'll be paying for the sexual harassment lawsuit, not us. Lawyers. If you see a human lawyer, run. If a human lawyer sees you, run faster. If a human lawyer is against you in a court case, give up before your sentence gets worse. If you see a human running away from something, it's probably a lawyer that they're running away from. Try to keep up. If caught by a human lawyer, attempt to do as little action as possible. If you do not provide them with any stimulus, they'll typically entertain themselves by filing petabytes of lawsuits on your behalf regarding particulates in the air instead of something worse. No sudden movements. Notable personality physiological differences by associated homeland. Canadians do not feel cold, Russians do not feel fear, and Americans are always more heavily armed than the others. Anthropomorphization. We didn't have a term for this before the humans showed up. Humans will coax computers and name vehicles. Yes, they realize that the rock on the desk is neither alive nor sentient. Questioning their intelligence over the issue will get you nothing but irritation from them. Oddly enough, for no discernible scientific reason, this behavior correlates with increased performance from the device in question. The exception being printers, which require 38.77% more maintenance if a human is even within the vicinity of it. Percussive maintenance. It shouldn't work. It works, but it really shouldn't. Do note the exception of printers. If percussive maintenance is performed on them, order a new printer. Cuteness. If your species has fur and large eyes, a human is practically guaranteed to want to pet you at least once. Tell them to stop, and they'll typically comply. If not, file a complaint with sapient resources. Translators. Figuring out the primary human language is going slowly. They often speak in cultural references and oxymorons. If they say something offensive, make sure it is translated properly before getting mad. We have the issue every time a new species is found and integrated into the Union. But this one, in particular, is especially troublesome. Loopholes. Humans will find loopholes. Galactic Code of Law has had to be updated on technicalities because of them of a total 1,299 times as of this writing, including spectacles such as including matter and antimatter in the definition of theft. Engineering. Yes, they have constructed Matryoshka brains and stellar lifters in mass. Yes, they are excellent engineers. Yes, they can massively boost the efficacy of every system on your ship, nation, station, whatever. Consider, however, whether you want to deal with said systems immediately not working or exploding once the human is no longer maintaining them. Weaponry. If firing it doesn't kill you, having it fight at you definitely will. Most somewhat sane beings stop making bigger guns once they start making small tears in the fabric of reality when they fire. Keyword here is most. Despite all these warnings, having human co-workers and friends is highly beneficial. Good luck. Addendums. It turns out that the Russians also don't feel cold. And on another note, anything an Australian tells you about their home is likely a lie, unless it's about weird foods. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.